We've had earthquakes, we've had typhoons, we've had low-flying fog, we've had red flags, black flags. The last 3 weeks in the World Championship have been absolutely crazy. We've got it all here. This is After the Flag. Welcome to After the Flag from Magellan.
This is After the Flag from Laguna Seca.
Come on, guys, come on! So here at Motegi, we're joined by Nicky Hayden in his last throws, I suppose, with the Ducati team. Thanks very much for joining us, Nicky. How is it for you at the moment? Is it a sad, happy time, this last part of your Ducati career?
I guess a little of both. Probably, if I'm honest, more happy. I'm excited to move on and try something different. But on the other hand, after 5 years with this team and with these people around me, it is also it's hard to leave them because you spend a lot of time with these guys and they become like family after so long. So on one hand, it's tough, but the other, I'm ready for a change, move on, and see what's left in the tank and try something different.
How will you look back? What highlights or what will you take with you from these 5 years with Ducati?
You know, if I'm completely honest, I look back and I don't say with regrets, but I can't really be happy about the 5 years. I mean, the results-wise just wasn't enough. So that's bitter. There'll definitely be a little bitter taste in my mouth that we couldn't accomplish more, especially in the last year or two. But on the other side, you know, there's no regrets. It was a very interesting experience. I love the guys. The Ducati fans were great to me. I experienced a lot, learned a lot, but I just wish we could have did better on the track. But that's how it goes, and it didn't happen. I will say that I can be proud of the effort all the way to the very end. Even now, people say, "Oh, it's surprised to see me still trying and still been top Ducati the last few races." So people are surprised, but that's all I know, and I look back with knowing that we did try, and it was just unfortunate, not better results.
Of course, we're here in Motegi, and if we look behind, I don't know if the camera wants to just take a look over there.
Yeah.
We are surrounded by a lot of Japanese fans. There's still actually, Nicky, hi guys.
Hi.
There's still actually a lot of love for you over here, and of course, this is the home of Honda, and it could well be, well, he's going to be riding back under the gold wing next year.
Yeah, going back to Honda, which I'm very excited about. Just, there was a moment in there, wasn't sure where I was going, maybe World Superbike, things were a little bit unclear. And when I found out Ducati, I wasn't coming back here, I didn't expect to have so much support still from inside the MotoGP paddock, had more options than I expected. And we know in racing people have short memories. So for me, that was great after some pretty dry years that still had this same, or not the same, but still had a lot of people interested. And everything just fell into place. I'm very excited about it. We have to understand just how good the production bike can be. But I love Hondas. I mean, I always, as I told some people before, during this time, I kept buying Honda dirt bikes. So it shows what I think of the bike and their motorcycles.
When they say production bike, it's a bit confusing, isn't it, for fans at home, because it's a prototype that they're building at the end of the day, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is confusing, so we'll just find out. I mean, the bike, we really hope there's some things we won't have, seamless gearbox, pneumatic valves, but on the other hand, we're going to have some different engine, allowed to have more engines, more fuel, and a few cards that we can play. So my hope is to be competitive, and Honda believes in this project, and I mean, it's definitely people think, oh, you're going to ride a CRT. Well, I hope we're a lot closer than what the CRT bikes can be. And,
the open category should, we hope, all be a little bit closer. Now, how old are you now, Nicky?
I'm 32.
32,
yeah.
Crikey. Well, obviously now, 10 years, it's 11 seasons now that you've had, obviously, in MotoGP. But you came over as an AMA Superbike champion when you first came in, and straight into the Honda team at the time. We've heard about Josh Herring. He's coming over to Moto2 with Caterham next year. What do you think about, from your position as one of the more veteran riders, if you permit me to say that, and not get too annoyed? But what do you think about the future for young Americans coming through?
You're one of the more veteran PR guys around here as well.
Hey,
so
as long as I work with Nick Harris, I get away with it, you see.
Okay.
But what do you think about the young talent? Because surely is.
Well,
a
I was
good
going to say, well,
American talent
truthfully,
out
there's
there.
not a lot of young talent right now on the world scene. It's been tough. Nobody in Moto2, Moto3, World Superbike, World Supersport. So I'm very happy that Josh is coming over to Moto2. That's a great championship, great racing, great talent. And the American fans, I don't think have really picked up on it too much because they don't really have anybody to follow. So hopefully Josh can get in there and help draw more fans to it. But he's got deep waters, that Moto2 class. I have a lot of respect for them, and it's not going to be easy. You're going to have a lot of adjustments to make. But I hope he can get in there and be competitive, and not just him. Hopefully we can help get some more guys. There was a little dip there in the AMA series, if we're honest, where the organizers weren't really good, and the fields right now are not maybe as deep as they were, so I think it's kind of hurt some of the young talent, not getting as much competition. But now it seems to be coming back, and I hope we can find a way to give the young kids in America more support, because now a lot of the rides there are going to the people who pay. Obviously, with the crisis, the kids with the real talent and hunger aren't really getting a chance. It's more the kid who got the money. So we hope me can keep helping, and Josh definitely hoping the gate for a few more.
Hopefully Valentino, talk about him having a Moto3 team. Is that something you'd be interested in the future?
Well, yeah, it's of course something we talked about. I've thought about. Of course, a lot of my Kenny Roberts, a lot of the former Americans used to do it. But I'm not ready for that while I'm racing.
Of course.
While I'm racing, no way. And with the right sponsor, everything is easier. But we used to, maybe a Hayden Brothers team would be something that definitely would be pretty special.
I think we could get a sponsor behind that.
Yeah.
We surely could.
Yeah,
after the flag, we'd sponsor, wouldn't we, guys? We would.
It was easier with all the cigarette money and things like that.
We don't have anything like that.
Yeah, those sponsors
are
kind of dried
I've got in my
out.
wallet at the moment, but it's pretty bare. So I don't know how we can help out. Well, anyway, we wish you best for the final round of the season in Valencia, and of course for your first test with the Aspar Honda team. The best for the coming years.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you, and thanks to a lot of the fans. Like I say, still have a lot of support, great fans behind me, and I'm very excited. I still feel, like I said, I am 32, but I still feel healthy and pretty fresh, and I'm looking forward to going back to my Honda and see if we can get after it.
Well, thanks very much. I'm only a couple of years older and still feel fresh. Perhaps not so healthy as Nicky, though, all along. But cheers, Nicky. Let's have a see how Nicky and the rest of the field got on, not just here in Japan, but in these flyway races in Malaysia, Australia, and of course here in Motegi.
So, a very warm welcome to Sepang in Malaysia. It's round 15 of the MotoGP World Championship. Marc Marquez, his 8th pole position of the season as he chases his 7th Grand Prix victory to defend or increase that 39-point lead in the World Championship.
Lights go out, away they go. Another good start from Jorge Lorenzo. Not so great from Marc Marquez, whose front wheel wheelied a little bit. Rossi has gone past him, and also has Pedrosa. And look at Dani Pedrosa. That's the Pedrosa of old. He's going to lead that into turn 1, but Lorenzo around the outside now. Lorenzo runs it far too deep though, and it will be Pedrosa leading. Lorenzo is back once more in turn 2. Now Pedrosa comes alongside Jorge Lorenzo. He just breezed past him that time, didn't he? Marquez, will he have the inside line this time? He is going to go through. Marquez goes through. Marquez up on the inside of Lorenzo. Oh, and this time they really do touch. As Lorenzo back in front into turn 12. Brilliant opening few laps to the race, this. Now we're on board with Marquez into turn at 14. Through he goes, but Lorenzo bravely hanging on the outside of him.
Dani Pedrosa, one bend to go for the Spanish Honda rider.
So big wheelie from Dani Pedrosa. He's enjoyed that one, I think. Going on to take victory in the race. Marc Marquez takes second place and 20 points ahead of Jorge Lorenzo, meaning he extends his championship lead to 43 points. The riders are going to make a mandatory bike swap, but on each tyre or each bike they can have a maximum of 10 laps on those tyres.
Will we have a new world champion after 19 laps here at Phillip Island?
It's Lorenzo leading from Marquez second, Pedrosa now into third. They've got to hit 60 kilometres an hour before they come in, and they're not coming through actually. Lorenzo's decided to stay out, as has Marquez, and Pedrosa has come in. It's the opposite way round to what we expected. See how hard Pedrosa was on the brakes there, almost a stoppie from him as he comes through the pits. So he will get a lap all by himself, but it'll be on fresh tyres out on the track. They've got to come in now. Marquez has stayed out there. Marquez has stayed out on the track. I do not believe this, but surely Marquez has gone a lap too far. What is going to happen now? That must be a miscommunication between himself and the team.
Marc Marquez had to come in here from what I gather.
Yeah, completely.
And he's surely going to be penalised now.
That was the end of lap 10. The world champion who leads by 43 points could be set for some kind of penalty.
We thought with the team that was possible to make that lap, but was a big confusion. We cannot say that anything because the communication with the board was perfect. When they say box, I go in, but the problem was the plan that we thought that was possible to make that lap.
7 laps ago when they crossed the line, we will have a look at pit lane with Marc Marquez in. Here he comes. Has he got out in front? No. Lorenzo will still lead the way. It's going to be...
Oh,
they touched
no, they
in
really
the Doohan
have
corner.
touched.
They touched then in the Doohan corner as he came out of pit lane.
Yeah,
and Marquez now runs it a bit wide.
Marc Marquez has been black flagged, just came up, and it is Marc Marquez will not be getting any points, and if Lorenzo wins, it will be, oh my goodness me, it will be 18 points separating them in the championship with 2 rounds to go.
He's been black flagged because he ran over the time, didn't he? He came in 1 lap too late. The 2013 World Championship has been blown wide open. From what we see from here, and what Dylan said as well, he did break the rules, Marc Marquez. Jorge Lorenzo wins the Australian Grand Prix here at Phillip Island, and he has blown the 2013 World Championship wide open.
Oh, unbelievable day. Trying to line something up down into V. This time Marquez gets to the inside. He's not going to make it, and he's going to have to pull back in behind Jorge Lorenzo. Still Dani Pedrosa is there, but just on this last lap, hasn't quite been able to keep the pace.
I think that was his first real attempt to take the lead, Marc Marquez. It didn't work because Lorenzo brakes so late.
I think that time actually he ran it a little bit deeper and tried to squirt it out. Oh, and Marquez has run it wide. He's run it very wide. How many times have we seen that this season?
A classic ride from the world champion Jorge Lorenzo, who wins here in Japan.
Marc Marquez will cross the line in second place, picks up 20 points, just ahead in the end of Dani Pedrosa, 1.4 seconds behind. There's life in this championship. It's going to go down to Valencia.
As you can see on the famous tower here at Motegi, the results from today with Jorge Lorenzo, winner of the race. It actually takes Yamaha to 200 MotoGP wins. As you can see, the photo they're celebrating here behind. What a place to do it as well at Honda's home turf. But more than anything, with that victory and the one in Australia, it means the championship will go down to the wire. The final round in Valencia in a couple of weeks' time. 13 points separate Marc Marquez now from Jorge Lorenzo. And who knows what could happen there. Jorge just needs to ask his teammate what can happen in the last round of a championship. Anyway, there's been so much happening over the last 3 weeks. I really don't know where Greg is going to go with his ATF debrief this week, but here he is with it anyway.
Let's just say you always go to the Valencia Grand Prix. It's a bit of an annual day out, you know, last race of the season, but not really knowing what's happened during the year. In fact, let's just say for a moment that since Valencia 2012, you've not followed the World Championship at all. So the last thing you remember was Lorenzo and Marquez, 2 champions, shaking hands, plenty of smiles, everybody's happy. Dani Pedrosa imposed his dogma somewhat ironically in a race including bike changes, while his teammate left a vacant seat. Quite a lot's happened since then, hasn't it? And to be honest, it's difficult for us to sum it up here in only a few minutes. Let's try and do it then using footage only from the last Grand Prix in Japan. This shot of Lorenzo, for instance, shows the mentality hasn't changed. He's overcome great obstacles in the twinkling of an eye, and he's always looking forward. And for that reason, it's he who remains the focal point. Unfortunately, Dani Pedrosa has jettisoned that role of protagonist that officially went up in smoke in Japan, so for him, the dream's over for at least another year. Maybe the other two just had something he needed.
Es que no toques legal. En la curva hacen así y hacen ¡buah! Yo derrapando todo el rato. Una manera de...
And so a crestfallen Dani checked out his rival's tyres to try and find an answer. His certainly weren't in the best condition. Even Jorge realised that. Isn't it uncanny though that Lorenzo actually needs a bit of a helping hand from Pedrosa when we get to Valencia, because the championship leader is still just that little bit too far in front of them, and that's despite what happened back in Australia. You Valencia race fan didn't see what happened there, did you, sir? With respect, you can't really understand the true meaning of this embrace. Nor of these congratulations. But, you know, even the very best of us can make a mistake. Japan showed that Marc has learned when to copy the best of them, and when not to. To sum up Rossi's season, by the way, let us take this from Friday when that mysterious fog crept up and covered Motegi.
Why we don't do it all now? Yeah.
OK, he wasn't able to challenge for this World Championship, but at least he's enjoyed his season a hell of a lot more than the last 2 years. So if anyone were to ask him for a tip heading in direction Valencia, he'd very likely say something along the lines of, don't count on your eggs before they hatch. Why? Well, we all remember 2006, don't we? Irony of ironies, to say the least. Sometimes you can prepare for an outcome as much as you like, but never ever take a single thing for granted.
Who are we all waiting for here, guys? Who is it? I think they're all waiting for Jorge Lorenzo's autograph. Who knows, it will be the autograph of the 2013 MotoGP World Champion. We'll find out in a couple of weeks' time in Valencia. Make sure you don't miss it. We'll see you then.